The federal government has said that it will stop the payment of fuel subsidy by the end of June 2023. The Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, disclosed this at the public presentation of the 2023 federal government budget. The Finance Minister disclosed that in the 2023 fiscal period, the government has made provisions of 3.36 trillion naira for fuel subsidy payment to cover the first 6 months of this year. This, she stated, is in line with the 18-month extension announced in early 2022. Maliki Duro has more.
The Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, noted that the nation's revenue performance as at November 2022 stood at 6.5 trillion naira, representing an 87% of the set target of 7.8 trillion naira for the year.
Was 6 trillion naira. So that is 6 trillion naira revenue foregone in terms of different kind of tax incentives, tax holidays, exemptions of import duties, different kind of waivers. That's revenue that could have remained. While we appreciate the need to provide incentives to encourage industry, but we have to create a balance that we're not giving out too much without getting much into the economy in return. So last focus of the finance bill is the revenue generation and tax administration, an obvious one, of course, combating tax evasion and aggressive tax planning, aligning the Petroleum Industry Act of 2021 with the Petroleum Tax Administration, so that the two taxes are in alignment with each other. So we're not making any changes in the PIA. We're just amending the current tax laws to make sure they align to the provisions in the PIA, the Petroleum Industry Act.
As regards tax waivers, the Minister of Finance announced the withdrawal of the pioneer status tax waiver for companies going forward, adding that a total of 6 trillion naira have been forgone between 2021 to date under its tax waiver scheme.
And our hope, of course, is we have to plan on this sustained production. So if the production is sustained even at that minimum 1.6, we will be able to reach this revenue. And remember, we're also going to be exiting for subsidy by the middle of the year. So it will mean more revenue accruing to the Federation. Subsidy cost is a cost to the Federation. It eats up into the oil and gas revenue. On the optimistic side, being assured that the security and the production will be sustained. And if it is sustained, these revenues are realizable. In fact, they are on the conservative side, because we always try to be conservative. And we have been reconciling with the National Oil Company, the NNPC, on oil subsidy, and this is done on a monthly basis. They report on what is the cost. Unlike before, NNPC is not remitting revenue to the Federation. So now what we're doing is they're sending us invoices so that we see what the cost is, and we're supposed to agree how to pay them on a subsequent basis. But
also speaking, the Director General Budget Office of the Federation of Nigeria, Ben Akagboeze, speaks on the government expenditures.
Submitting that the real solution is in growing revenues, so we have the greater capacity to to spend. It is because our revenues are so low that it looks like our expenditures are high. If you look at our expenditures, the total government expenditure for Nigeria, the public expenditure ratio to the GDP, is the lowest even on the continent. So it's not that government is spending too much money. It's actually that we're not spending enough money, and that's why critical, services like social services and perhaps not at the level that they ought to be.
The depreciation in the contribution of the oil and gas sector to the economy, according to the minister, represents the government's resolve to diversify the economy.